Hello, dear friends. Here we are, Harvest of Light. Yes, this is day 8, and we are studying chapter 7, Spiritist Literature Captions. And we're here tonight to study with Emmanuel a message that was psychographed by Chico Xavier that brings to us new illumination. He's talking to us about writing. He's talking to us tonight about books. Let me share with you. Tonight, at the Spiritist Society of Virginia, we were discussing about the book Spiritism in the Arts by Leon Denis, which is already available at spiritist.us. And in that book, our dear Leon Denis talks about the concept of art. Art as the search, the study, and the manifestation of divine beauty. And in that feature of art, we understand that writing is part of it, is a way to manifest that divine beauty. So when Emmanuel is disclosing to us insights, recommendations regarding the writing skills, the Spiritist literature, we shall pay attention because it's the manifestation of divine beauty, which is in many ways congruent to with the good. Okay, so chapter 7, Spiritist Literature Captions. He starts by quoting from Matthew chapter 4, item 4, verse 4. Men shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God, Jesus. Isn't that interesting? We're going to discuss about this. So as we are entering, and I see many beautiful friends coming in, I'm going to read the message, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? So let us be permeable wherever you are. If you're driving, cooking, cleaning, walking, whatever you're doing, let us be permeable to make sure that you don't wait for later. I know some people say, yeah, I'm going to pay attention, but later I'm going to listen to it again, so I pay more attention. But tomorrow is another day. We don't know if it's going to happen. So let's be very mindful in this very moment so you can do something new tomorrow. Okay? Of course, you can listen as many times as needed, but just to save you the time that you may use for other things. Breathe in and out. Let us focus and visualize Chico Xavier psychographing this message. See if you can visualize it. Emmanuel says, choose as you wish for this or that respectable literary school, but connect your own work to the teachings of Jesus. Issue with dignity the concepts that you espouse. However, connect yourself as much as possible to the habit of prayer, seeking the inspiration of the higher planes. Exalt the ideal, integrating it with reality. Cultivate the best of style, considering at all times the responsibility of the word. State what you think. However, abstain from segregation in personal points of view to the detriment of truth. Improve artistic values. However, avoid the secrecy that obstructs the channels of communication with others. Treasure the resources of intelligence and recognize that intellectual culture alone is not always an absolute foundation in the work of the sublimation of the spirit. Devote yourself to steadfastness in exposing the principles you embrace without fomenting discord. Value friends by thanking them for the cooperation. However, never despise opponents or underestimate their importance. Keep the certainty of what you teach, but always study in order to listen with balance, to see with security, to analyze with benefit, and to serve more. Much of what Emmanuel is telling us was discussed tonight at the Spiritist side of Virginia when we were talking about the concept of art and spirituality according to the book by Leon Denis, Spiritism in the Arts. Again, I repeat to you, the book is at the website, the bookstore, spiritist.us. And in that book, we're going to find the beautiful concept of art. Art as the search, the manifestation, the study and the manifestation of the divine beauty. So Emmanuel is telling us here about what we read. We don't live by bread alone. Many people don't know it. Ask yourself. Many people think that it's okay. When you decorate a house, I'm gonna give you a quiz, okay? Like a test. When you think of decorating a room in your house, where are the books in that room? Oh, no, I keep my books in a particular room. But why not having books in every room? Every room? Yeah, why not? Because if you sit it at your living room, there will be books. If you are in your bedroom, there will be books. If you're in your dining room, you may sit at a table and read books. And the kitchen, while you're waiting for something that is being baked, books. Like in Thomas Jefferson's house, if you come to Virginia, Thomas Jefferson, the writer of the Declaration of Independence, he built his house in close to Charlottesville, in an area that we call Monticello, because it's like a little hill, and it's a beautiful place to visit. I know there is a controversy about the fact that he was the owner of slaves, etc. Besides that point, it's indisputable that he was a genius in many ways. We don't agree with slavery, but besides that point, we agree that Thomas Jefferson was a genius. When you enter his house, unlike other houses, he built like a little museum. In his living room, he created, he put items to show, to display things of his trips to people who were visiting him. What a mind. He was not, though he loved agriculture, he didn't live by bread alone. He was a scholar. More than that, a writer. The writer who received the inspiration to write the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence is much more than just the independence of the United States, which took 30 years to really settle in from 1776 to 1814 in the last battle that was defined in Baltimore. So I am mentioning this to you because we don't create a new disposition by surviving alone, and that's what Emmanuel is telling us. It's not only about our daily lives. I know people who are constantly driven. Their days pass by focusing on the immediate goals of life. They don't see past the immediate goals. But Vanessa, is it possible? Yes. The way and how we pay a bill can be different. I can pay a bill saying, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't have to send this money to this account. I wish this money were for me now so I could travel with my kids, so I could buy a new car. And instead, when I see the millennial goals in my life, I see this phase of my life passing, I pay the bill saying, thank God that I have this money to pay this bill, that I have my job, and that I can be free to even think about something else. I don't need to be concerned about it because I have the money to pay this bill. My attitude is going to be different. If my attitude at work, if I find the holy, the sacred in the daily little things, I'll be able to exponentially maximize the gains of my life. And the good spirits will count on us by seeing that we are seeing in every little thing the holy, the divine, and the sacred. And I think that's what Emmanuel is trying to tell us in many ways. He says, you can choose whatever philosophy of life you want. And he's talking to Spiritists, like the literary school in the Spiritist literature as well. Some people like Emmanuel's books, other people like Umberto de Campos' books, other people like Joana de Angelis' books best, and Kardec, and Leon Denis, and there's so many. But he says, above all, work, connect yourself to the work of the teachings of the Christ. Why is he saying that? Because it doesn't matter who is writing this. At the end of the day, if it's a Spiritist literature, it's all about the promised consoler. Can I meditate on this together with you? And I'm going to ask you this, because today I was discussing with a friend about Spiritism and spirituality, and we were, talking about how often we talk about sacred things, we study about sacred things, and yet we're not applying the minimum of the Christ consciousness in our lives. At the end of it all, it's all about love. It's about love. Love God above all things, 1. Love our neighbor as ourselves. 3. Threefold love. Threefold love. So Emmanuel is saying, no matter which Spiritist book you're reading, don't forget, it's all about the Christ consciousness. Not as a label, but as an action. Consciousness will drive us into action. There is no use in knowing this all if we don't pass the ball. It even rhymes. There is no use in knowing this all if we don't pass the ball. It's a way to rhyme it, huh? We need to pass the ball, meaning share, share, share is care, share is care. We share. We don't need to tell people you have to. But you know, people come and say, read this book. Like my friend John Rosa does all the time. Read this book, talk about this, talk about that, etc., etc. So the second thing, recommendation he says is, pray more often. Scale 0 to 10. How often do you pray? Do you pray often? And he says, pray seeking the inspiration of on high. Many people don't do this. They pray as a plea, as a request, as a demand, sometimes bargaining. God, if you give this to me, I promise to you I'll work so hard in the volunteering work. And who are we kidding? God doesn't need this exchange. We ask because we need. And God gives if we need it. If we really don't need it, we won't receive it because we don't need it. So you trust that God knows more than you. You don't need to explain to God why you need it. You just ask. Jesus said, ask and you shall receive. He didn't say, explain why you're asking and then you may be receiving. Adding explanations will not convince God of anything because it's a mathematical loving intelligence. There is a loving reasoning behind it. So we don't need to explain, saying, God, I need a new job because I need to pay my bills, help my family. You don't need to add that. Maybe to you, but not to others, not to God, not to the higher spirits. Ask for inspiration. God, help me, please. Find a new job. Inspire me where, to whom, with whom, how, and when. And you trust. So here we have exalt the ideal integrating with reality. That's interesting. When we talk about the Spiritist literature, we often read the Spiritist books like this. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I am like this, I confess. I am like, oh my gosh, this is so deep. And then we go our day. And we forget that that is about our reality. Love your enemies. Let's talk about this. Wow, that's big. Love my enemies? Ay, 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 ay. Is that possible? How am I gonna do it? Meditate, meditate, meditate. Like, you know, but if somebody does this to me, I'm gonna do this. Well, then what we have as an ideal in the literature is not converging to reality. So reality, we read and we do the feeling part. You remember how, right? You remember when Mentor Joseph said, we feel the scripture by bringing that to our own reality, to our lives, not to the neighbors, but to ours. So for example, do I have the habit of prayer? Do you have the habit of prayer? Do you? How often do you pray? And that's not about quantity. It's mostly about how we pray. The habit of trusting that you have a connection. It's like your phone. Once the phone is on and you push that button, you're in the Wi-Fi. That's it. After that, anything can happen. It's one button. That's what's the habit of prayer. Exactly. You're talking about it, Sylvia. Yes, in your own words. And that's how we should pray spontaneously. Leon Denis says the best prayer is the prayer of the heart. Kardec talks about it as well. Prayer is the best is the felt prayer. Some people, they feel so moved with the Lord's Prayer, they can do the prayer as the Lord's Prayer. For some people, it's not going to work. They don't feel it. Some people, they love the Ave Maria. And for them, it moves mountains. So do the prayer that you feel the most. But what is important is to trust in the asking and to bringing it to our lives. He says then next, regarding the Spiritist literature, remember about the responsibility of the word. And that's for those who write. Those who write. They need to pay attention. I'm responsible regarding what I'm writing about. Be careful. People may see it, they may take it literally, and it may create chaos in their lives. So we want to bring peace. Peace for peace, right? We want to be peacemakers. We're learning to bring peace. We need to be responsible for the words you use. And talking about bringing it out, he says, state what you think, but avoid bringing about personal points of view that will be creating segregation. We want to create unity, not division. Unity, not division, right? Improve artistic values and avoid the secrecy that obstructs the channels of communication with others. And this is so beautiful. Improve artistic values. He's telling us there is an artist inside of all of us. Says Leon Denis in the book Spiritism in the Arts. He says that beauty is an expression of the divine, and it is in each and every being created by God. You're beautiful, I'm beautiful, beyond measure, because the physical body cannot express our true beauty, which is divine, which is the harmony with the Creator. So he's saying here, improve your artistic values. He's talking about the values of beauty, harmony inside of us. When you are writing, if you want to write with harmony. We're in a day and age that people do whatever they please. Because of social media, we lost this refinement, this etiquette. It's lost. We need to rescue it. Emmanuel is telling us, when you're going to write a post on Facebook, may it be beautiful, harmonious, encouraging, uplifting. May it bring people up and not down. Oh, Rudy, I love you. It was great to be with all of you in Lilydale. It was great. It's great to have you here too. Thank you, Silvio Otero. I love you guys, and I love being with you here. It's a treat for us. So, Emmanuel is reminding us that we can beautify our writing. If you use Twitter, don't go with the flow. Go with the high flow of the divine. Beautify your words. Beautify your posts. Bring something that can add to people. Because we only share personal things with the ones that really are in the immediate circle. With the general public, we don't know exactly who each and every person is. We have a connection and it's valid. And I think Facebook is a mechanism that is so Christ conscious because it's helping us do what Jesus asked us to do, make friends. But to make friends, we need to give to these friends first instead of taking from them. We give to them good words, as Emmanuel is saying, beautiful words, uplifting words. And then we make friends. We cannot ask from people to understand us without us understanding them first. We need to understand first. And to understand that people they have their needs, they have their insecurities, they have their fears, and it is on us to share the good. Seek the good, feel the good. Visualize the good, mold the good with all the resources you have at hand, including social media, Instagram, beautiful pictures, beautiful posts, Facebook, and many other types of social media that are existent. And it's not that we're faking anything, but we're sharing good news that may benefit others. So Emmanuel keep telling us, treasure the resources of intelligence, but to sublimate the spirit, the intellectual culture is not necessarily the absolute foundation. We progress to wings, right? Moral, intellectual. We still need that part. Oh, but that person is so bright, but lacks ethical, moral advancement. Still flying like this, or not even flying. So we need to strengthen both. How do we strengthen the knowledge? By exposing us to the new. Did you know that your brain, physical and spiritual, even though we age, we may create new neurons, if and only if we expose ourselves to the new. What is the new? New situations, new scenarios, new experiences, new people, new culture, new thoughts. So if you are living, if I am living in my daily life, the same neighborhood, the same friends, same work, same everything, I'm missing the boat of life. I'm missing the boat of life. I need to expand as everything in the universe expands. We need to expand. The new is the next thing we need to do. So, an exercise in the next 24 hours. Shall we try something new? Good new, huh? Healthy new. And it doesn't need to be big. It doesn't need to be huge. Can be watch a good new movie, start reading a good new book, or meet somebody whom you haven't met, get to know of new volunteering opportunities. You know, sometimes thanks to Facebook, we find out opportunities, new courses, new connections, new volunteering opportunities, new organizations. Have you tried it? In the next 24 hours, something new, a new skill that you can acquire, artistic maybe, because we have that expression of beauty inside of us. And if we don't put it through our creativity, we're going to be blocking ourselves. And when we block ourselves, we're blocking the flow of the divine in us, through us. Right? Emmanuel then continues saying, devote yourself to spreading these principles of Spiritism, but do not foment discord. If people don't believe, leave it alone. Oh, but I wish and I wish, I pray and I pray that this family member, that friend, but you know, they will be encouraged by you, by seeing you. So what do? Sing to them. Sing to them. Or smile more to them. Tease them less. Provoke them less. They're gonna feel more comfortable. We come along where we feel comfortable. Make them feel comfortable around you, and they will get to know of what you've already understood. Value friends by thanking them for the cooperation. Okay? Do we thank the friends for their cooperation? Yeah, sometimes, not every time. Let's do this more often. And never despise opponents or underestimate their importance. Remember when we talked about blessing the past? That's something we need to bless. Bless these friends that are temporarily, they are in opposition to us. Because in the line of immortality, we're destined to be friends. Think about that moment. Don't put anybody down. You may need a break from those, but sooner or later we'll meet again. And finally, keep the certainty of what you teach, but always study in order to listen with balance. Okay, this is the big one, but always study. I know many people who are Spiritists. They have read time and again the books. They say, I've read this one, I've read this one, I've read this one, I've read this one. So, you know, but have you studied it? To study is to ponder, phrase by phrase, word by word, especially in the Spiritist literature, because the Spiritist literature doesn't spare words. Each word is measured when it's good Spiritist literature. And he says, when we study more, it helps us listen with balance. Ah, that's a big one. Listen with balance. What is it? I'm listening and I'm not contaminating myself by people's emotions. What is it? Emotional intelligence. So when Emmanuel is telling me this, he's saying that these books can boost my emotional intelligence, and I agree. Because neuroscience already proves to us that books of the nature, for example, of the Spiritist literature, like André Louis' books, the romances by Emmanuel, they change our neurobiology, our pathways. They're going to change the way we feel about life. They are going to make us better listeners. And when you're a better listener, what happens to you? You have better relationships. Because usually our relationships are troubled by the problems of our communication. Communication is so funny. We try to put something in common, and it doesn't happen to be that way. I'll never forget when somebody, a friend of mine, said, that there was somebody listening to Divaldo Franco's talk in Portuguese. And everybody was crying at the end, even this lady, she was crying, moved by the mediumistic message that he brought by Dr. Bezerra de Menezes. And at the end, a woman turned to this friend of mine and asked, what language did he speak about it? I'm so moved, but in which language did Divaldo talk? And that's a sign to us. And if you ask the person, what did he talk about that made you so moved? I don't know. And then a month later you forgot. So you're not listening with balance. We're listening out of neediness. Needy. I become emotionally needy. And I'm not listening with balance. Or when people come and talk about their problems with us. And what do we do instead? Oh, really? You were sick? No way. Oh, you don't know? I've had that in the past, and then you start talking about yourself. That's not a good listener. I'm not listening with balance. And when people talk about their problems and we are like, oh my gosh, this person, I feel so terrible right now. They told me all these bad things that are happening in their lives. So at the end of the day, we ask, what's the point of listening if it doesn't balance us? So when we study, we're going to be able to listen to the person and think of the guardian angel, mine and the person. We're talking, but before this encounter, there are the good spirits. That's a good exercise. Emotional intelligence tells us that we need to know what we're feeling, know what others are feeling, know the difference, and then know what to do. And when I learn that people are speaking because they need to speak, but I don't need to absorb because it's not personal. Dom Miguel Ruiz, the 4 agreements, he was right. Nothing that people say is actually personal. It's more about themselves than about us. Like a mother. When the mother is tired with the daily things, or the father, and the child comes, says something, they say, no, now. And they, Mom, the way you're talking to me. And then you say, no. Mom is just tired. It's not about you. And you wish that your child really knew that it's not about them, but about ourselves being tired. So when people come talking to us, even when they accuse us, they are talking more about themselves than us. And we learn how to listen with balance. The Spiritist literature teaches us to understand more. You see, there is no message that Emmanuel has been writing that doesn't bring us back to the understanding idea. To see with security. How many things we see and we become afraid in nature. In nature, when an animal sees another, they may feel threatened. We need to leave that animality and learn how to see things without feeling insecure. That's why many people have problems with their vision. Even Louise Hay talks about that. You know, I don't need to unconsciously close my eyes so I don't see the mess. I learn to see with security. And you may be asking, how do I do that? How? If God is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, God is everywhere. G-O-D, God is here. G-O-D, God is everywhere. Where we are all of us are. So when I see something that is not feeling safe, I remember God is here. G-O-D, God is here. God is everywhere. God is everywhere. I'm not alone. I'm not only safe at home, I'm safe everywhere. Because God is there. You see, rhymes again. I'm safe there because God is everywhere. Everywhere. God is everywhere. There is no place where God is not. Then I learn to see with security. Right? G-O-D, God is here. Keep this in mind. Let's keep this in mind. God is everywhere. For people who have anxiety, depression, bring God to the center of your universe and feel the presence of God everywhere. God counting on you and counting on everyone. No exception. And finally he says, when we study, it helps us analyze with benefit. Because often we analyze with judgment, criticism. So we analyze seeking the good. How do I do this? The cup half full. Oh, but I wish I had one more day of vacation. But, you know, I had my vacation. Thank God. If God wants me to go home today, I'll go home today. Feeling rejoiced. Feeling that it's my retreat with God. Wherever I am. I'm gonna think this is my last day here. And I wanna make it beneficial. So I see things and I analyze without judgment. Some people come back from vacation because it's vacation time in many parts of the world. They come back and they become grumpier. They're like, oh my gosh, I came back from vacation and look, oh, what a mess. It was so good to be there at the beach. Oh, I can't believe we're back. Look at the traffic. Look at the people at work. Everybody's grumpy. People are so sad. They're counting the days now to the next vacation in a year to come. No, analyze with benefit. I had a vacation. Many people cannot take vacations. And we don't rejoice because they don't. We rejoice because we are granted the opportunity. And I'm talking about petty things so we can talk about bigger things. Little everyday life. Analyze with benefit, not judgment. Seeking the good. Finally, study to serve more. Oh my gosh, did you see, guys? Did you see that the spirits always bring to us that we need to serve more? And you think it's enough and they're always saying more, 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 more. It's almost like a cheerleading, a spiritual cheerleading force saying, serve more and more and more and more and more. And I tell you, they're right. And you know, they're right. Because the good spirits never stop. And the goal of the good spirit is to make us a good spirit. Is to help us achieve the level of good spirits. Are you ready? What is to be a good spirit? It's when the good prevails over evil. So we need to study to get there. And that's why we're here at 11 p.m. Hooray to the internet. Hooray to the network of friends. Because we can be together studying so we can listen with balance, see with security, analyze with benefit, and serve more. Hooray to this network! Let's celebrate so we can serve more. Right, Silvio Tero? So a big hug to every friend who is here. Fabiana Labate, Adilson Araújo, Kátia, Amanda Andrade, Andréa Torres, Maria Silva Wall, how are you? Paula, dear Paula, Escolinha do Chico, Sol Souza, Cris Costa Camacho, a big hug to you and the friends in the Bay Area. Rihanna, beautiful Rihanna, Teresa Castro, dear friend, you are here. Dulce, John the Rose, Aline, dear Aline, Margaret Carmo, how are you? Julija, beautiful teaching, Julija, with your daughter. Hipólito, how are you? Nina Dui, Sérgio Trevino, how are you? Silvio Tero, Célia Lancaster, what a joy. Rudy, Renata Cassadei, it's a wonderful lesson indeed, Rihanna. What can we say? And happy Women's Day. Thank you to you too. So friends, we're gonna stop here today with these recommendations by Emmanuel. So the bottom line is study the Spiritist literature so we can serve more, listen with balance, analyze with benefit, and see with security. Tomorrow when we come back, chapter 8, it's about speaking, public speaking. Wow, really? Yes, and this book is for everybody because you're being called to do that too. As a teaser, talk constructively, but listen to others in order to understand the problems. Is that it? For today, thank you, Nina. Thank you, friends. Have a beautiful night. And as we said, Mentor Joseph said at the Spiritist out of Virginia tonight, when you go to sleep, you have two buttons. The buttons of your daily worries and the millennial goals. Which one you're going to push to enjoy your time in the spiritual realm? Push the millennial goals. Push that button. Leave the daily worries to when you wake up with the millennial goals, and you're going to know the way out. That's it for today, dear friend. And if you're keeping your day, may it be bright, sunny, beautiful, loving, and until tomorrow, God willing, friends.